Right, welcome once again to the Great British Mickey Waffle. I'm John, and for this episode of our Share a Waffle series, we've another fantastic guest. I'm glad you can join us and hope you can sit back and just enjoy the show. Let's start by introducing my fellow presenters for today's Waffle. We've got Ben.
Hello.
Hiya, Ben. We've got Becca.
Hello.
Hi, Becca. And Sammy.
Hi.
Good to see you all, and I hope you are ready for another fantastic guest. There you go. I've set you up good and proper there. What an intro. There you go. Welcome to DizneyDan. That's Disney with a Z, or is it a Z?
ZZ. Yeah, as long as it's not an S, I mean, that's the main thing.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. But having had the pleasure of being on Shooting the Breeze with Dan before Christmas, I've got to say we are looking forward to tonight ever since that moment. So it's brilliant to be able to share a waffle with you, and with so many questions to ask as well. First of all, as always, we're going to ask you the questions that have become synonymous with the Great British Mickey Waffle and all of the guests that we've shared a waffle with. Are you ready?
I'm so ready. Let's do this thing.
Okay. I reckon you've been genning up on some of these questions. I reckon you've been told to just check out, but hey, I'm going to keep that to myself. All I say to other people is quick fire. So go with a heart.
Okay.
Share your thoughts, and nobody will think worse of you in the morning.
They already do, so it's fine.
Right. Question 1. What's your favourite park?
Magic Kingdom. Always magic. Yeah.
Question 2. Ride that you hate.
Oh, you already said you're going to hit the hard-hitting questions, and I didn't expect it to be number 2. You know what? I can't stand the teacups. I just can't do spinning. It just makes me. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there.
I thought you were going to say something much worse there, so I'm quite. I was scared for a second.
No, the teacups are. I can't do those things. No way.
Yeah.
Okay, most overrated snack.
Most overrated snack, the Mickey Premium Bar on the stick. I'm sorry, it's just a Magnum. It's just.
It's a Mickey Magnum.
I mean, everyone tells you everything's better in the shape of Mickey. Like, I get it, but I just if I had a choice between a premium bar or an ice cream sandwich, I'll take the ice cream sandwich any day.
Fair.
Is it not?
I think Magnum's been quite nice, actually. I'd call it a choc ice.
Yeah,
choc ice.
So a lot of people.
It's that use of the word premium, isn't it?
It's a bit overused.
Yeah. I'm making choc ice. Come on, it's just let's be honest. Don't oversell it on the use of the word premium.
But the more the better they sell it, the more they can sell it for.
They might as well just say, let's have some premium popcorn and premium Dole Whip and premium, whatever. So
Missing a trick.
I think
exactly.
Favorite transportation mode at Walt Disney World?
I love the monorail. Just because there's nothing else like it. I haven't ridden the Skyliner yet, so I can't make that sort of judgment yet. But every time it's either boat or monorail, I always take the monorail and go through the Contemporary, and it's a great way to start the day.
I always get into trouble when I say the monorail.
Why?
Because everyone said, "Oh, it's the smell, isn't it? It's the smell." And it's just it's not. It's the whole experience.
So I would like to change my answer to the buses.
You're the first person to ever say the buses.
Yeah.
You know what? People give the buses a bad rap. Listen, if you are the last person in the park and then you're the only one on the bus late at night, it's the best. I'm sorry.
It's the AC. The AC is
AC's great. Yeah. And
There's one downside of the bus that everyone misses. It's last thing at night. It's pitch black. You get back to your resort and the bus driver turns the lights on. And it's you just...
Especially if you've been having a nap, like I often do.
Yeah.
And especially if the bus driver starts to lean the bus, go beep, 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 beep. Really overly loud beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
You just have to be at the right right seat on the bus, and you just go deaf.
Is it sad that I kind of miss it?
Oh, I
No, I think we all do. I think in our hearts of hearts, we all miss that.
Everyone misses the annoying beeping sound.
I miss that bright light moment. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that bright light?
It
Bright light,
reminds
bright
you
light.
you're on a Disney bus.
Because it's not just you who's being shot, it's seeing everyone's reaction to it as well. And everyone's going like, oh, well, the light, it burns. And, it's the whole, I love it.
Love it.
And it's one of them things, it doesn't matter how tired you are. After a long day in the parks, you've nodded off on the bus. That bright light then suddenly just sparks you into life for another couple of hours, doesn't it? It's just like...
I kid you not. When I stayed at All Star, I think it's Movies is the last one along. I think it was a really late night coming from Magic Kingdom. It was like an event or something. I kid you not, I missed my stop. And I was staying at music. So I missed the music and went to movies.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I said to the bus driver, we're at movies? Oh, I was meant to get off at the last stop. And he was just like, because I was the only one left on the bus, he was just like, yeah, I'll go around again. I was just like, oh.
Yay. I love it when, do you know some bus drivers are fab like that at Disney?
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, they really are.
They're patient, very patient people.
You would have to be, honestly. Like, let's be real.
Move behind the yellow line. Don't come near me while I drive the bus.
I'm not going. I'm not going there. I'm feeling an ECV moment coming on.
I'll tell you.
I was going to say, I'm just letting it slide.
I'll tell you what. The buses for Disney are great, but the cast member buses, let me tell you, they are not.
No, I don't.
I remember the first time the debut of the Star Wars Spectacular at Hollywood Studios. I was there for the debut. It was really amazing to see, and I went to go see it because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And then I decided to go back to my cast member housing. I decided to take the bus to back home to where I was staying. And it's kind of like it's kind of polite if you get on the cast member bus, you let the people who've been working to sit down, and then everybody who's sort of been playing can they stand up and let everyone else sit, which is no problem to me at all. So everyone is leaving the park. The park is closed. Everyone's finishing their shift. There's like 3 buses full of people, crammed, absolutely crammed. And we were ready to go, but there was a crash leading out of Hollywood Studios, not just affecting the cast members, but the guests as well. It was a big crash coming out of Hollywood Studios. And it took us maybe 2.5 hours to get out of the parking lot. And when you're on a very hot, sweaty bus with a lot of cast members who've been working 9-hour shifts, not the most pleasant. So my friend and I, who were standing at the back, we could see all these cast members just so drained and tired. And so my friend and I were just like, you know what? Let's just cheer everybody up. Let's just start singing. Let's just start singing on the bus. We ain't going anywhere. Everyone's moody. Everyone's tired. What's the best thing to do in front of cast members to cheer them up? Let's just sing Disney songs. So we just started singing Disney songs for 2.5 hours.
What was the reaction though? Because it could have went either way.
So it started off like, what are they doing? Like, some people were tired. They were just like, shut up already. And then they realized like we're not going anywhere. So we're like, oh, we'll just.
So like we may as well join in if we have to.
Yeah, we were like Hakuna Matata. That means no worries. We're stuck on this bus for the rest of our days. It was great.
At least you didn't do Small World.
Yeah. Oh God.
You might have been lynched.
I'm pretty sure I don't think we did that. I think we would have got thrown off the bus.
Yeah, I was going to say you'd have got chucked off 100%.
Wouldn't have been the best song to start with.
That was good.
Oh, fabulous.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite transportation.
Yeah, goodness. There we go. Number 5. Here we go. What's your favorite table service restaurant?
Oh, that's easy. That's Sanaa over at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I could eat there every single night of my trip, and then just live in that restaurant for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Just stay there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And
it's so good.
Yeah.
The bread service, the atmosphere, the quality of the food, the price. It's the best restaurant on property.
I totally agree. I've got it in my notes that we need a little bit of Sanaa sort of love tonight, because there's one of your shows on your channel where you just do this little show just about the bread service.
Yeah.
And it's just like talk about sort of the reverence that is deserving of the bread service at Sanaa.
I have converted people to loving the bread service.
Beautiful.
I've had deniers say we will never try the bread service. We're not going all the way to Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is like in a different state because it's so far away from everything else, to try this bread service. And then when we go there, I'm like, we're getting the bread, and they love it.
Yeah. And once you get beyond the bread service, the food there, and we've been a number of times, and because it's so different. If you're on quite a long holiday to Disney, and you get fed up with sort of the fried options and this and that, the actual food there is so different and flavoursome that it's one of them times where you just think you're eating something that is completely different.
Yeah, no, it's true, and I think it quite suits us Brits quite well because we love sort of our Indian curry flavors, and it has sort of that vibe there as well. So, it is a great restaurant.
What a great choice. I'd agree with you.
I'm sorry this isn't so much of a speed round.
No, we don't do speed rounds on the Waffle. That's it.
When we tried this ourselves, it's like, we got halfway through and gone, no, we were talking about every single one.
Yeah.
To be fair, you managed to edit that down very well.
I think the other problem there, though, Ben, is the fact that I think if we all did it again, having sort of had the experience, I think we'd probably all give slightly different answers as well. 100%. And that's what's such a great thing about the questions that we've got. So now, love Sanaa. There we go. Let's go on.
Okay, question 6. Resort you haven't stayed at but want to more than anything else on earth.
It has to be the Polynesian. I mean, I love that resort. Just the smell walking in, that Polynesian smell is just delightful. And the look, the aesthetic of it, and just the food. Come on, they got ohana, kona, they've got everything that I could possibly want. And staying in the bungalows, if I had the chance, that would be amazing. But I think it would have to be the Poly, absolutely.
Yeah, that's my dream resort. Like one day.
It'll happen.
Right, so I don't know why they gave me this question because they know I hate this question. It's the most ridiculous question that's ever been asked.
That's
ever.
why we gave it to you.
So they've done this on purpose. Favorite car park?
Favorite car park?
Thank you. Exactly. Ridiculous.
Favorite car park?
Best question ever.
It's the worst question.
That's such a
really good answers for it, though.
You've had
We've had a few interesting ones because, especially when we've had sort of American and sort of we've interviewed because they don't understand car park.
A couple of our friends from across the pond.
Parking lot. That's what they said. He was like, "What's your favorite parking lot?" You know what? I'm probably gonna have to go with. Oh, this is tough. I haven't. You know what? I'm gonna say Hollywood Studios now, just because since they added in the Skyliner, I think it just looks so much better than what it is. You can see Terra. You can see sort of that classic Hollywood Studios like entranceway, and then you got the gondolas going over you. I think that's just such a cool new like sight to see. But it's a
ridiculous question, right?
But you know, I would want to give an honorable mention to the Lime parking lot structure at Disney Springs because it's like the closest thing to actually anything. Because if you park at a theme park, you have to walk like 10 minutes just to get to the park, whereas the garage, you're literally just down the escalator and you're there.
Hey, do you know something as well? I think you've hit on something there, Dan. The parking at Disney Springs. Just for the fact that when you're in the car and that little light comes on to show you where there's an available space as well. I think we've missed a trick there, guys. We've missed a trick. I think we need a whole show on parking spaces.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Samuel, join in with that one.
No, I'll be sick. Yeah, Dan can take my place. Like,
oh, dear.
Okay, less controversial then. Typhoon Lagoon, Blizzard Beach, or Volcano Bay?
So I've never been to Volcano Bay. Don't Don't kill me.
Neither am I.
And I don't think I've ever been to Blizzard Beach either, because I've always been a Typhoon Lagoon guy. I mean, I've always wanted to ride Summit Plummet at Blizzard Beach, but I just never had the chance to. But Typhoon Lagoon has always been sort of my go-to water park in Orlando. They got the biggest wave pool I think I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm a swimmer. I love swimming in that kind of sort of environment. I love going in the sea. So when I can see like a wave pool and it's not salty water, I'm there. Like, that's great. So I think, Typhoon Lagoon, they got some good slides there, good food there, surprisingly. You'll notice that a lot of the times I talk about stuff, food will be involved. And it's and you can meet Stitch there. That's cool. So yeah,
You're selling it. You're selling it.
Exactly. I went to Typhoon Lagoon the day opening of Galaxy's Edge. It was amazing.
There's no
I
one there.
bet it was dead.
There was no one there. We got through every single slide there in the space of an hour. And then we went to Disney Springs for lunch, Animal Kingdom during the afternoon, and then I went to Galaxy's Edge at the evening when there was no one there on opening day because everyone was there at 2 a.m. So it was a great day.
I think if you like Typhoon Lagoon, sorry Ben, but I think if you like Typhoon Lagoon, you'll like Volcano Bay because they also have a zero entry wave pool and stuff like that. Okay. And they have, if you like slides, they have some really like big, thrilling like slides. So, and it's beautiful.
I did regret not going there last time I was there. I really wanted to go.
Yeah. Sorry Ben, what were you saying?
Do you know what? My mind's just gone. It was to do with Typhoon Lagoon, but I can't remember what it was. Saying that actually we did the Moonlight Magic event because they do like H2O glow nights as well.
Okay.
And it's normally when they've got like special events, and we met a few characters. We met Elvis Stitch.
Elvis
Stitch and Surfer Goofy.
That's so cool.
We were only there for 3 hours, but the queues for everything or the slides were like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I think that's kind of those things with those events like the Mickey's Not So Scary or those special events. Always the character lines are so long, but then every ride is a walk-on.
Yeah.
So, it's worth it, if you just want to do the rides.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to move it on again. So Galaxy's Edge or Diagon Alley?
Oh, Galaxy's Edge any day. Oh, come on. Like, don't get me wrong. I like my Harry Potter. I'm not a massive fan. Like, I do like it. I have only seen the films. I haven't read any of the books. And I enjoy it. Like, it's fine. But I grew up with Star Wars. Like, I love Star Wars. I'm probably one of the only people on planet Earth who likes all of the films, except for Attack of the Clones. I hate Attack of the Clones. But all of the others I quite like. But I look, Galaxy's Edge.
I've found someone else who likes Phantom Menace.
I like Phantom Menace, Sammy.
Okay, when I say like Phantom Menace, that's a bit of a reach. Like it's tolerable.
It's acceptable. Yeah.
Look, take the last 20 minutes, just a bit with Darth Maul in it. That's fine. Everything else can.
Well, I almost had a friend. Almost.
I still enjoy watching it, Sammy. I mean, it's been a while since I have watched it. But...
Look, I'll sit down and watch it. Like, I won't watch Attack of the Clones. Let me tell you,
no, Attack of the Clones. Yeah, no, because like it's so hard to find people that like Phantom Menace.
I think there's a lot of hate for that film.
There's a reason, of course, but
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar.
I love Jar Jar.
This stale acting.
That comes in a bit later when Hayden Christensen comes in, but yeah.
Don't go there, and don't remind me that he's coming back in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
I know. Hopefully, he's like took some lessons or something. I don't know.
He was in Goosebumps when he was like 9 years old, and his acting actually hadn't improved since he was starred as Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars.
Yikes! Big yikes!
Yeah. Next one is Keep the Magic or Backstage Detail.
So, as a former cast member, I've got to be a bit biased here and say Keep the Magic. But if you do get a chance to go backstage, I feel like it doesn't cherish your experience. I feel like it only improves upon it. I don't know how much I can go into detail about the things I've done backstage because there's a lot, and I don't know how much time you have. But
tell us everything, and we'll cut some out.
I'll tell you what, Dan. Keep that for after we've finished, and then we'll have that as your lead in for your cast member days as well. Because I think we'd love to hear it, and I think the listeners do as well. I think it'd be a really fantastic one.
All right, I'll keep it ready to go.
Okay, so early morning or late night park visit?
Can I say both?
No, that's cheating.
I'm a road drop tonight, like lights out kind of guy. No, I go all out. So I normally go all out, but my next trip, I'm thinking of bringing sort of my family and my other half, who's never been to Florida or Disney before. So I think she probably would want a break in the middle of the day. So, but normally, if it was just me and a friend or whatever, we would be from park opening to park close.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hardcore. Love it.
Yeah.
Favorite other podcaster or vlogger about Disney?
Ooh, okay. Well, I'm going to have to mention your friend and my friend, Lou from WDW Radio. I think obviously you know him as well as I do, though, that I've been following since the beginning, since he did Mouse Tune, since he did sort of his earlier stuff. I was fortunate to meet him at one of his Meet of the Months when I was there in 2016. And he's just he is an inspiration, I think, to all of us who are sort of part of this Disney community. He's sort of like the godfather, you could almost say, of this community. So no, I listen to him religiously. He's very insightful and interesting, and just the most humanly human I think I could describe. So yeah, I'll go with Lou for that one.
Lou is brilliant.
Yeah, especially if you mention the boathouse.
Oh. I actually asked him, so when he was on Off the Wall with Pete McDevitt, I asked him, would you want to go to Sanaa for bread service and then Boathouse for your main course on the same day, or would you want to like split it up over like a weekend? He would be like, he was like, Dan, if you want to take me to Sanaa and then Boathouse on the same evening, let's do it. Let's make it happen. So we're gonna do it. Hopefully.
Do you know that's the bit I like about Lou? It always puts out there, if you're going to take me. He's really canny on that, isn't it? It's the fact that if you're going to take me, you're picking up the bill.
I'd tell you what, everyone's
if we invite them, then we have to pay.
Yeah.
The common phrase is like father, like son, but I feel like my food addiction to Disney was sort of not taken from Lou, but he sort of opened like my eyes to the food of Disney. And that's sort of why I love it as much as he does, because like food is an attraction, like he says, in between the rides, and it's true. So
yeah, it's weird because it must be nearly. I can't even in the raft of shows that we've done, having going back and talking to Lou and actually talking about his ability to engage, certainly my family and my kids in particular. And I think it hit me with the question is the fact that we listened to Lou, and then suddenly I get a voice from the back. How come you've not booked us in there, Dad? And it's one of them ones who's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine, yeah. But he makes it come alive. He makes that whole sort of that experience of trying to explain on air the whole experience and all these different restaurants that we love to go to. And it's really nice, even going back and listening to older shows. And I think it's the use of words and the use of terminology, and I don't know. I'll go with it. The use of the word godfather of the whole sort of community.
The only downside is recently he's been to Everglades, at Disney Springs.
Wow.
And the mention of donuts, that chicken sandwich, it's like, I just want to get there.
I know.
It's just pure
It's just,
jealousy.
just another one on the
for
list.
sugar fix.
I think I have to go there
Yeah.
in 2 weeks for everything.
Who needs to go to the parks when you could just eat your way around Disney Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we might think about staying at Saratoga next time, just
so we can
just so
walk
we
over there for
can just
lunch.
walk back around. So breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so our last question for a quick fire is on-site or off-site?
Okay, so when I was young and when I used to go with sort of my parents, I did what most British people would do: stay off property, stay in a villa or a timeshare or whatever, and sort of go take a car to the parks. But over the last 6 years, I've stayed on site. And I've stayed at Art of Animation and some of the All-Star resorts, and I love it. I love staying on site. I think, you get that full Disney experience, and I feel like when people say you feel sort of trapped inside the Disney bubble, I don't see that as much, because you could just take an Uber to, Vineland Outlets or to Universal. It's not like you feel trapped. It's just because it's almost like you feel more at home when you come to it. That's why they say, like, welcome home, because it's not like a hotel. It's more comfortable. It's more homely. So, but no, I love staying on site, and you get, your mugs, you get, the bath soap that has Mickey on it. I mean, what more can you want?
It's the little things, isn't it?
And a collection of that in the other room.
I think if you can afford it, and once you do it once, you can't not do it again. It's a completely different experience.
And there's a lot of convincing, I think, to people, especially from this side of the pond, saying, why is it so much more expensive than staying off property? But if you stay at somewhere like Art of Animation or All-Star Movies, then you are going to be embraced with that Disney in your face kind of thing. But if you stay at the new Gran Destino Tower, or if you stay at the Riviera, or if you stay at Saratoga Springs, like, it really isn't in your face. The Disney thing is like, it's not like, oh, here's Mickey, here's Goofy, it's not everywhere. It's quite subtle, and I think that's quite appealing for me. So, if I ever go back, with my partner or anything, I'll say, let's go stay at Saratoga Springs, or let's go stay at Colorado Springs, because it's not like Disney, right face, Mickey's checking in your bags and he's carrying them to your room. Like, it's not. It isn't.
Like, if he wants to, he can.
We would be okay with that. But it's the others who might.
Some people don't go to Disney. They go along with family, and it's like we've been taken on a trip to Disney, and like John said before, his first trip was to go golfing.
Yeah, I was meant to go last year in May for my first family holiday to Disney in 10 years.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of convincing for me to convince my dad and my brother and stuff to have a half stay on Disney property. It took so much convincing. They just weren't having it, and I was like, no, you have to experience it.
You have to experience it. I feel like everyone has to experience it once.
Yeah. 100%.
But it is hard to convince. Look, it's money at the end of the day. It's what comes in on that on that invoice. That's the thing. So, but I would definitely recommend to people, look, it's okay. It's a vacation. You treat yourself.
Yeah.
And you'll experience something that is so different to. Look, the last thing I want to do at the end of my day is to go to Walmart to buy some milk for the next morning. That's the last thing I want to do on my vacation. So, I mean, that's just me. I don't know.
We got to maximize park time here. Come on.
I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. That's for home. I just want to just. It's one of those things. You just want to be able to leave stuff that you do at home.
Normal, boring household chores. Out the door when you leave the house to go up to the airport. Not worry about anything for the next 2 weeks.
Do you know something? I think this is a really brilliant thing, Dan, because actually for the past few months on our podcast, what we've been really trying to do is look at all the alternatives that are available to people in the UK. And I think between everyone on the team of the Great British Mickey Waffle, we've all had so many different experiences and different favourite ways of doing it. And what you've just said will probably lead us really lovely into sort of our March show, where we're actually going to bring it all together, and we're actually going to discuss the whole thing and try and get it to that type thing, and whether or not people have changed their mind along the way, whether or not people have found that there's an alternative to what they've been used to. So I think we might have to throw that into the mix. And so tell everyone Dan says Onsite. So it is. I think it's for us. It's been a great thing to go and explore as a team and as a podcast. And I think I would like to hope that our listeners have enjoyed that information, because actually, I think for you coming and saying that is the similar reason to the likes of Sammy and then Ben and Becca as well. And I think we've all got a very, very personal view on it. And I think that initial on-site, off-site question has taken on a real sort of lease of life, because I think we're all seeing different.
I think at the end of the day, it all depends on your own individual situation, whether it's what you like to do when you're on holiday, if you're going by yourself, if you're going as a couple, if you're going as a family, if you're driving, if you're not. There's so much that comes into making that accommodation decision. So it just depends totally. It's completely subjective.
And I do get sort of the other people saying, we don't just want to be at Disney. We want to go to the other place down the street where they wave their wands and, and all that kind of place, with the mini reptiles and whatever. Universal.
I'm so buzzed for their new coaster, by the way. Just saying that. Just plug in their coaster.
Yeah. And I get that. I get that people sort of want to say, "Oh, I don't want to just stay at Disney. I want to go to all these other places," and that's fine. Like, I don't feel like you don't need to stay off-site to go to these places. It's not like you go into Disney and then you're barred from going anywhere else. Like, if it's going to add 10 minutes on your journey to get from Disney. Look, I got from Disney to Universal in 25 minutes in an Uber.
Yeah.
It's not far at all. And, you're going to spend a little bit extra money on Disney property than you are off Disney property, but it's Disney. It's not going to be cheap as peanuts. It's not, but you are getting that experience that you won't get off property. You are going to get those benefits. You are going to get those experiences that I feel like if you just do it once, you will have an experience like no other. And that's kind of where I would go with that.
And we took it to the next level and brought into DVC.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You stay on site once and then you stay on site the next time and you're just like, oh, I quite like staying on site. Yeah. Oh, what's this man trying to sell me this thing about, this DVC? What does that stand for? And then they start talking to you for 20 minutes about DVC.
Only 20 minutes.
I think we were there for 2 hours the first time.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I remember I was in Magic Kingdom, right opposite the Journey of the Little Mermaid attraction. There's a DVC booth there.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask him, I was doing sort of an experiment. I was just like, so what is this that you've got here? And I go, well, this is DVC. And then blah, 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 blah. And then 30 minutes later, I was just like, thank you. And I walked off.
Do you know what? We were the opposite. We actually asked about it. First time we went into a Disney resort, we saw what this was, picked up a leaflet, and just from then, but we were staying off site at the time, so we hadn't stayed on site at Disney. Yeah. And then a couple of years later, we had to stay on site at Disney, and then we decided to buy in.
It's a great scheme, I think. I'm not sure.
It takes a lot of number crunching. It really does, and we bought in at a good time, I think, for $84 a point. Okay. Where at the minute for Saratoga, it's about, if you buy from Disney, it's $164 a point.
Yeah.
So
got a good deal on our points.
It's a good deal. But
I tell you what, everyone needs to tune into the March episode of the Great British Mickey Waffle podcast, because I think we're going to have an argument about all of this in the end. I really do. I think
it'll be a friendly discussion, John.
Sorry, yeah, that's what they call it. Sorry, yeah, friendly discussion. Yeah, I do. It's so close, like Ben says. It's number crunching, and it's no, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
I just like that we've got someone to go on holiday for the next sort of 35 years.
Yeah, I'm going to buy an airline.
That's fine. As long as we can use your plane. Friends and family discount, right?
Right, I'm going to bring this all together. So I'm going to be tight on all of this, right? So Dan, all your questions in there. We might not have been quick fire, but you know something? It's been absolutely superb getting all your answers and actually enjoying that little waffle about all those different things, and it leads us absolutely seamlessly into you, because where did your Disney journey start?
Oh gosh. So funnily enough, we start back way young, and I was a big Star Wars fan first and foremost. And I really enjoyed sort of storytelling, and my job, what I do now is I talk about the ancient world, I teach Latin, and I talk about mythology. So I've always been interested in storytelling. And then I think I went to Disney when I was really young, and then went again in 2002 to Florida with my family. And I don't remember much. I remember riding Test Track like 5-6 times because it only had like a 15-minute wait at the time. I remember riding Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin because it was like the coolest, high-techiest thing at the time. I did that over and over again. And then I remember getting kicked out of a hotel room at the Sheraton for playing with our Beyblade things, the trend Beyblade things, because it ripped up like the beds. Yeah. So I remember we moved from there, and I didn't remember much of that vacation at all. And then since then, I think I was maybe going through sort of secondary school. I just, I found, funnily enough, I was just thinking to myself, how cool would it be to work at Disney? That was kind of like my main sort of trigger to loving Disney.
Yeah.
So where do you look when you try and find out how to work for Disney? You look on YouTube. And I found like loads of vloggers. I found a vlogger from Liverpool, and it kind of just kicked off from there. And since then, I just somehow just became addicted to everything Disney. I read biographies and books all about not just Disney, but the company, but the movies, everything. And I think when I went to university, I did more research about Disney than I did my actual degree. I started collecting everything, whether it was, things like Peter Pan or Pirates of the Caribbean or even like princess stuff. I don't really care what it is. It's just because I came so addicted to the franchise. And then I went back in 2012, so 10 years after I went, the earliest time I think I went, and I was like, I love Walt Disney World. I love Disney World. I absolutely love this place, and that kind of fueled the fire, and I became more and more addicted. And then, when the magic happens, when your favorite company buys your favorite thing that you loved as a child, which is Star Wars, it's like the best thing to happen. It's like, it's like putting sprinkles on ice cream. It's like the best thing you could ever do. I mean, that was a bit of an over-exaggeration, but still, it makes everything better. And then they buy Marvel, and they got Pixar, and I just became addicted to the storytelling. My favorite form of art is movies. I love watching movies, and I just became so obsessed with Disney. And that's kind of how I got my nickname, because everyone used to call me, DizneyDan, and even my parents would be like, DizneyDan, stop telling us all these random facts. We don't care, So, and that's kind of just the thing that I've just been in love with, like, since then. And it's always sort of been my drive to, work for the company, because, I'm so inspired by Walt and what his philosophy is, and making people happy. And that's kind of just what it's always been about. And it's just never stopped. So, yeah, that's kind of
do you know something? I'm more fascinated by that journey in towards sort of becoming a cast member. More so because I'm currently, I'm not, unfortunately, But I've got a son who desperately, was thinking, he's thinking the end of do your A levels, you've got the opportunity of a lifetime. And I know he's got a friend who I know is a listener to the show, but I won't name names. But she knows who she is. There you go. But they're desperate to go and actually be able to be part of that whole community out there. And I think that having that background knowledge and having that sort of that dream, that must have been something that really sort of fueled your desire to actually go out there and I know fine well. I think as holiday makers, we always look at cast members and we look at that. It must be brilliant. But I know, family, you must work exceptionally hard. The hours must be dreadful, etc. Tell us the lot, because do you know something, Dan? Even now, even at the age I'm at, I would still go and work for Disney, and I would still go and enjoy every single moment of it, and to just watch the parades, even if you're stuck in the shop on Main Street, to just watch the parade going out in front of the shop 3-4 times a day. I would never get bored.
You've hit the nail right on the head there. So it kind of all started when I found out about how to work for Disney, and I had to be at university to do it. So it was quite funny. I was saying to my parents that, the reason why I want to succeed in my A levels and go off to university is not to go off and get a degree, is because it's my closest opportunity to work in Orlando. And I made that sort of happen. And so I did the international college program back in 2016. And I've got lots and lots of stories, but I'll try and get through a lot of them as quickly as possible. So for a couple of years before then, I was working in New Hampshire as a lifeguard. So I thought, okay, Disney is hiring for Disney College program. They're looking for lifeguards. Great. I've been a lifeguard in America for 2 years. Makes sense. It makes absolute sense. So I apply and they say, right, we would love to bring you out to Florida. And I was like, fantastic. This is the best moment of my life. So exciting. And before you become a lifeguard, you sort of need the training, of course. And funnily enough, Disney don't follow the American Red Cross. They follow sort of their own lifeguarding system. And part of that system is to take an eye test, like you go to the opticians, which you never do anywhere else. I'm like, okay. So I was trying to be sort of one step ahead of the game. So I put my contact lenses in, knowing that there was probably going to be a swim test afterwards. And so I can wear my goggles so my contact lenses would be fine and I could be able to see the board, to see the letters. So I get to the facility, there's a pool, and Mickey's like holding the lifeguard ring. Like everyone's so happy, and it was really intense. And we stood behind this line, looking at this board, and I stood there, and I couldn't see anything. It was all blurry, and I'm just like, "What's going on? I can't. I've got my contact lenses in. Why can't I see this board?" And so the guy next to me, the vigilator, he was like, "So, why, do you want to start reading it?" And I'm like, I can't. He goes, why? I'm just like, I've got my contact lenses. Makes no sense. So long story short, I put the wrong prescription in my eye. No. So I go to the supervisor and I say, right, you've flown me 7,000 miles to come be a lifeguard, and now I can't be a lifeguard. What are you going to do with me? So you're like, oh, we'll send you off to the Contemporary. I'm like, all right, you can send me to the Contemporary. I'm not complaining. That's fine by me. So I ended up starting off as a custodian. So that was many, many hours walking around, bathrooms and trash cans and meeting guests and working by the pool. It is what it is. But I really didn't care, just because I was working for Disney. And then I went to my manager and I said, listen, I'm only here for 3 months. I would really love to show off my love of the company and love of Disney and do something a bit more than this. And she goes, how about the front desk? Like, all right. Okay. And I was like, but I haven't had any sort of front desk training. And so it's fine. You could be like you're going to work the front desk and sort of plan people's vacations and help sort of plan their day. And I'm like, all right, I could do that. That's fine by me. So I was, working front desk for a lot of the time. I once had to clean and wash every single window at California Grill.
Ooh.
That was fun.
That sounds
it sounds horrible, but looking out that view for 5 hours, I ain't complaining.
Ways to spend your time.
Yeah, exactly. And I also got to be a character attendant for 2 nights for the Pirates cruise. So I was helping Peter Pan and Captain Hook and Mr. Smee, which was a lot of fun. One shift when I was working in Bay Lake Tower, I bumped into Captain America, Chris Evans, which was a lot of fun. So we got told sort of the morning before. It's like, oh yeah, we've got a celebrity here. Don't tweet it out. Don't say anything. Keep it confidential for 2 months, and then you're fine. I'm just like, okay. And it was unlikely I was going to see him, but then he comes out of the elevator. I see, oh, Captain America.
Hi, Chris.
I was like,
first next turn.
I was just like, yeah, Hail Hydra. So no, he was cool. He was cool. But I think what was amazing working at the Contemporary was, one, it's right next to Magic Kingdom. So whenever I wasn't working, I was playing in Magic Kingdom. And whenever if I was working in the evening, I was in Magic Kingdom in the morning, and then vice versa. If I was working in the morning, I was in Magic Kingdom in the evening. It worked out really well. And if I was working in the evening, I would always take my break to go to the top of the Bay Lake Tower and watch what was Wishes at the time. So every night I was watching Wishes from the top of Bay Lake, and it was funny. There was one time where someone dropped their alcoholic drink on the terrace, and I was there watching Wishes, and they were like, "Excuse me, sorry, I just dropped my drink," and I'm just like, "Okay, just be there 1 second. I'm just waiting for like the final finale of the Wishes. Look over there, and then I'll deal with it in just a second." And they were just like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." So it was hilarious. Very uncast.
I'm totally with you on that. That's
It was the final, it was the final thing. So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna, watch it. And then lots of other cast member stories. I had a subway with Peter Pan and Cinderella. That was fun. Because there's a subway underneath Magic Kingdom. So I was in line. Basically, if you don't work in Magic Kingdom, you're not allowed down there. But I was like, I'm only here once. I'm going down there.
Yeah.
So I went to the subway, because who can say they had a subway underneath Magic Kingdom? And I sat there with Peter Pan and Cinderella. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I just took it all in, and just the experiences and the stories. I remember my feet just killing me because I bought the wrong shoes. There was like a size too big, so I had it was just, there's so many stories I can tell. But yeah, it was an experience like no other, and
sounds amazing.
It was really the best. I think the best summer I think I've ever had.
Would you do it again?
So would I do it again? In a heartbeat. I would go right now if I could.
Did you never think about doing the cultural representatives program?
So I did think about it. I think at the time I was turning 23, and I wanted to start sort of doing my teaching degree, and I didn't want to sort of leave it another whole year. And I wanted to. It was important for me to sort of have a foundation of what I could do if I needed to sort of have a full-time position, full-time job. So, life does catch up with you, and I would have loved to do it. But the problem is cast members, they have the time of their life, but, they don't get paid amazingly. They don't, because they get so many good benefits, like going to the parks and getting discounts. Yeah. So, but I would have loved to do it, but yeah, I don't think it probably would have happened. But yeah, but I know the thing is, I know so many people who've done it, and I know so many people who, were doing the cultural representative program. And when I found out that all those international cast members had to go home because of the pandemic, I think it affected former cast members like me, I think, a little bit more, because imagine you've gone through the intense process of just getting out there, and then, a week, a month, 2 months later, you're told to go home. Like, I feel like I waited like 13 years to do the program. If that happened to me, I'd feel awful.
It'd be heartbreaking, because it is a mega process to get there, because thousands of people apply. So, yeah,
I think well, I did into all of that, and I think Disney's meant to be that whole thing about it's all your hopes and your dreams, isn't it? And to actually become a cast member, it's that moment where you must get even into your accommodation, and I know it's a basic sort of setup, but you must get there and you must think, yes, I've done it.
You should see I did my vlog on it. I was like the first one in my apartment. Yeah. I was just like, yeah, let's go check out all the rooms. And but there's nothing. One of my favorite moments was getting given my name badge by Mickey. Mickey takes the badge out the bucket and he hands it to you. You give him a hug, and we're just like, that's Mickey giving my name badge with Walt Disney.
I'm just like
emotional now. Just thinking about it.
How do you think everybody in the room was feeling?
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry for going so deep, but
no,
because like I said, I've got a 17-year-old son. This is his complete dream. Before all of these sort of lockdowns and closures of countries and stuff, he had it mapped out. Yeah? He thought that there was a good opportunity over possibly 2 years, and it was something that's probably come from over 10 years of us going as a family, and so he has that knowledge, he has that background of exactly where you've done all your research before you went. And I think for him, it's something that was a natural sort of progression and it's still something that I think it's something that still is in the back of his mind, that once all of this opens up again, would be an amazing thing to go and be able to be part of. And I think what Sammy's saying as well about the whole cultural representation part of it, there are so many people who must be absolutely crushed at the moment as to the fact that that whole outlet has basically just had a massive full stop. And as a massive Epcot lover, I acknowledge everything that those people brought into the whole of Epcot over so many different, but maybe it wasn't the same cast member, but they had instilled into them the most amazing customer service. And I would imagine that's going to take a little bit of time to build that back up again. I think the level it was.
I think with something like this happening, I'm not saying it because I am a former cast member, but the love that cast members give is the most incredible thing I've seen. During the year that I was a cast member, we had that awful event at the nightclub. I don't know if you guys remember. But my friend of mine, one of my closest friends who I met during the program, she was LGBTQ, and she said to me, I feel like going to this club on this day and having a good time. Do you want to come with? And I was like, in all due respect, it's not really for me, but I know like a few other people who might want to go with you.
Yeah.
So we ended up on that day going to Magic Kingdom, and we have a great time. And I say to her, are you going to head off to the club? And she goes, no, I think I'm having a good time here. And then when we found out the news, she just came and hugged me, and we just started crying but the thing is, after that event, I kid you not, there wasn't one cast member who was hugging one another and comforting one another and showing so much love and support, because there were people there who it was tough because they used to be colleagues of ours. And whenever you hear like something bad, like the pandemic or this event at the club, or even just things that had nothing to do with the cast member, there was a boy who tragically lost his life at the Grand Floridian due to crocodile.
Yeah.
The amount of love coming from cast members, I've never seen anything like it, and it is such a wonderful sort of network of people who I think sometimes get unappreciated. And we say to people, we just want to make magic, and make people happy, and it's tough sometimes, and we do feel for those people who who lose their jobs, but we still love that Disney, and we'll always love it, and those people they'll go back. They will go back, whether it's being a cast member, whether it's being a guest, they'll go back, and it'll be all right.
I think as well though, Dan, and I think this is it's a massive part of the nightclub bit in particular hit the whole of Orlando. Personally, I know at the Orlando City, because I'm a big football fan, but Orlando City had put in sort of a set of rainbow seating in commemorating them. Yep. But it's the way that the whole of Orlando came together in that circumstances, and I think as well, and I think for cast members, because you all must be in that very vulnerable position where you're all away from home, you haven't got that support network, and actually in that moment of need, to know that you've got the back of of so many. I think as a podcast, I think what we've managed to talk about is those heartbreaking bits, and I'm coming back again to a show which I think a lot of people who listen to us must be sick of me going on about the Nemo show, but the cast members there and the support that they poured out on social media for each other when they heard that the show was closing, and continued to do so, and my heart still goes out to everybody who's a cast member who's either been furloughed or who has found that their show is no longer going. It's incredible. You can't buy that. You can't buy that support. And I'm pretty sure you've made friends for life that you're still in contact with. Yep. And that, to me, that's worth. That is something that stay with you for the rest of your life.
And it's Disney, being a cast member, Disney is not just a place we go on vacation now. It's our home. Yeah. And there are times where I would go to the parks and I would do the cast member scoop, which is picking off stuff off the ground in that cast membery way. I would take pictures for people, some random people, because I just want them to enjoy it as much as I wanted to give that when I was a cast member. So yeah, it's the cast members is what makes Disney, and I'm gonna say it, like, since the pandemic happened, I think the cast members have been, just by seeing it right now through streams and through vlogs, have just been better than they've ever been before. Yeah, they have. It's been amazing.
I think the best of us, like people like us who, not people who aren't really Disney people and take their kids to Disney and stuff. People like us who really have a deep love for Disney. We are a different kind of people. I think we are, because we love Disney, and Disney's about joy and happiness and love and inclusivity. So I feel like you're saying there with the cast members and showing each other love, that's just the kind of people we are at heart, because we are Disney people.
It's true. No, it absolutely is. It's I would say the happiest company in the world. Yeah. They put their yes, they sometimes annoy us by making those big announcements that might wind us up. But
like the fact that they're putting the prices of them premium Mickey bar ice creams up next week.
I know.
Every single time.
Again, is it?
Middle of February, packing goes up, premium bar ice cream goes up. There you go. That's it. I'm never going again.
There are those, it was a couple of weeks ago with the Magical Express and the park hours. Like, yes, it annoys us. Yes, there's, we can complain all we want about it, but in the end, firstly, Disney is a business, and two, there's always better things coming. I bet you that there were people who fell in love with Camp Mickey Minnie at Animal Kingdom, and when they changed that to Pandora, and I remember the hate that people were like, why are we bringing Pandora to Animal Kingdom? Why is Avatar coming to Animal Kingdom? Everyone was enraged. I remember the tweets, and then as soon as that park opened and they brought in Pandora, people were like, oh, best ride in the world.
Yeah.
The Tootie Canteen is amazing. Like, best animatronic in Navi River Channel. I'm just like, yeah, there's the bit of backlash you get now and again, but there's always better things coming.
And you're 100% right in the fact that the cast members make it. You know, if the cast members weren't what they are, the experience wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, it's true. You can't please everybody. That's the thing. You can't please everybody. Like, you know, just look, I don't like Attack of the Clones, but there are people who might have loved Attack of the Clones. But, you know, you can't, it's what people like and dislike, you know?
Yeah.
Our highlights from our trips have come from cast members, just that extra bit of magic. Just, I don't know. It was our second trip to Disney, and it was like we're at Blizzard Beach, and it was like, and we were wearing the anniversary buttons.
Oh.
And it was just.
I was wondering where the story was going for a second.
We didn't have to pay for the locker rental.
Oh, really?
And it was just something like that. It was just like, what do you mean I don't have to pay?
It's the little things.
It's those little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes everything so much better. And you remember those moments.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about these memories. So,
which then digs into some of those things that you read and that is instilled into so many cast members in that train, and not just the training, but the reasons why they want to become cast members. And it's that trait that sort of still lives within an awful lot of good cast members in all of the parks. And I truly believe it. You know where you've got someone who's maybe just new, either new and doesn't get it, but when you get somebody who actually truly understands what Disney intended, you know, I think I've said this before. Go and make them watch One Man's Dream in Hollywood Studio before they even start anything else. Go and watch the film. Go and walk through all that history. Watch the film, and if you come out at the end and you actually understand why this place actually exists, then you can start training.
What they should do is move that One Man's Dream, literally just after the security to get into Magic Kingdom. So you're forced to go through it.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I think I've been out of order before in saying it, that actually before anybody, not cast member, anyone visits Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, anywhere that's related to Walt Disney World, go and watch that. Have your ticket stamped, and then you can come in.
I like that idea. You know, they were going to put that theatre in the front of Magic Kingdom. That would have been ideal for it.
It totally would. They should show that there.
Yeah.
So
I'm totally for that. Go on, Sammy.
No, sorry. I kind of want to take the conversation in a different direction, because I'm really interested in you as a content creator, because I have my own YouTube channel. So I'm super interested to kind of find out how you started on YouTube and how you kind of paved your YouTube journey and kind of came to where you are now.
Because actually, 9 years on YouTube.
Yeah.
9 years on YouTube. In the past 12 months, he's gone from 1,000 to 2.1 thousand subscribers. And do you know something? When you start dipping back into all of those old shows, it's just like it's still relevant, and I love it. So I want to know you. I want to know your YouTube story. I'm not even a YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, like you said,
Sammy is.
Not 9 years since my first video, and that it wasn't really sort of like that video that I posted wasn't like welcome to my channel, like I'm Dan and I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was like it was a Green Day concert. Right, so I love Green Day. I went to see them. I loved it, so I posted on YouTube. And then 2015 came along, and this was kind of like preparing me to go to Disney. And that's pretty much where I really actually started paying sort of time and effort into it. So although I was posting a few videos back way before then, I really started focusing on my channel 2015. I have always wanted to document my cast member journey, and I pretty much vlogged most days. I wanted to vlog an experience that I could look back in 10, 15, 20 years' time and be like, I remember doing that on that day, that on this day. and I kind of fell in love with creating content. And YouTube then is so different to what YouTube is now. Yeah. It is so different in every way. And in some ways I miss it. I do, because it's, there weren't live streaming back then. There wasn't this shorts thing back then. Don't get me started with shorts.
I know.
Don't get me started, because
I was going to say, there's on my list of things. Don't ask him about shorts.
Don't ask me about shorts, because a hashtag Dan rant will probably be coming your way. But it was very different back then, and I wanted to document my journey. I wanted to document life as a cast member, because I think it's interesting. I think it's something different, something new, and something that people really haven't seen before. So I did that, and then I thought, let's try and go back to Disney every year. So I would always sort of plan a year to do vlogs out in Disney, which I did. So I've had 2017 Disney vlogs, 18, 19, which I've always done. And then I've obviously done videos right here in front of this horrible setup, which I 9 years later I still haven't changed anything. And what I've realized is, being on YouTube for 9 years, and you would think, oh, you've been on YouTube for 9 years, why are you not at 10,000 subscribers, 15,000, whatever? It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. I mean, look, if I reach over 2,000 subscribers, fantastic. It's an achievement. It's a milestone. But for me, this is what YouTube is all about. This is what content creating is all about. And it's meeting new people and meeting new friends. And I really don't really care as much about the numbers. I was taught from really early on, don't think about the numbers. It will drive you crazy. And especially with all these shorts things now and live streams now, it's so hard, because you want to see how many viewers you get. You want to see how many subscribers you gain in a month or in a day, or, how many shorts numbers you get. It's so sort of like addictive, and I get that. But because, I don't live near a park, I have to sit here and create new ideas and different things. Sometimes my vlogs don't get over 100 views. Some get over 100 views. It doesn't really sort of matter to me. As long as I create videos that are entertaining, I feel like my charisma and my wackiness for me is a selling point in of itself, because I just want to be crazy and do stupid things. I've done some incredibly silly things on streams, like really mad things that, I tried to do a 24-hour stream. I've tried to do just so, even last week, that pillow that I think everyone talks about on people's streams, I had to do I'm going to have to say
that's a list of things not to talk about.
Yeah. But that's the thing.
What did you have to do to the pillow?
So one of my partner channels, Rob Fuzz, it was his 50th birthday. And Pete McDevitt, he was on the stream, and he said, because Pete wasn't feeling too well, I was like, to make me feel better, and for Rob's birthday, why don't you have a little makeout session with your pillow? So I was just like, really? Like my face is on it, and my girlfriend's face is on it. Do I really have to do that? And they were like, yeah, Dan, do it. And I'm like, kids, don't give in to peer pressure. I know I'm about to, but don't give in to peer pressure. So I do it because it's entertaining. It's, I do it because I don't care if people judge me or not. I've never sort of had people, if people want to judge me, that's fine. I don't care, because as long as I make people laugh, make people happy, that's all I care about. So I do my vlogs, my streams to entertain. I don't really care so much about the numbers. So, but I stream a lot nowadays, apparently. So I do my main show, which is Disney Fiasco, which I started off with Corey Fiasco, who is now on the Diz. I started that with him way back. We did maybe 50 odd episodes together, and then he moved on to the Diz, and I kind of took it on myself. And now we're on episode 125 at the time of this recording, which is insane. And then I do sort of other streams, like my Disney movie review, where we kind of choose a random movie out of a pot. So that's on Disney Plus, and we review it. The next movie we are watching is Tinkerbell. So we've watched Tinkerbell, we watched the Lizzie McGuire movie, we've watched Guardians of the Galaxy, we've watched everything. So and then I just like putting out vlogs. I like putting out sorts of parodies of things. I think I did one recently called About Me ... kinda ? And that's pretty much, it was like a script I made, and every time I sort of cut, I put like a meme, like a YouTube meme up to make it sort of funny. So I do like parodies and that kind of thing. The whole thing is to make people laugh. And I take that sort of inspiration, that Mickey cartoon, Have a Laugh. So that's the kind of thing I go for. So, but that's kind of me.
Funny and very different.
I mean,
I think that's the other thing as well, though, Dan. I think it's, if people start looking at your channel, it's not all the same every single time, and I think the one that you're talking about, I would urge people go and have a look at it, because actually it's a clever twist on just not being you and stuff, and it's just using the medium to the absolute utmost. And I thought I was
like, how many streams have you found, or how many live streams have you come across where it's just like, all right, it's a Q&A? Like, I mean, come on, everyone's done a Q&A, everyone's done,
tags.
I don't know, tags, and let's show my entire Disney pin collection.
We love a tag.
But the thing is, if I did like a tag, I would like try and spruce it up. I'd try and be like, think of stupid answers. I mean, I do top 10s with my buddy Rob Fuzz, and like we were doing like our favorite Christmas movies, and I was like, yep, Jaws 4: The Revenge is a Christmas movie, and Iron Man 3 and Baywatch are all Christmas movies, because I don't care. Like, I just want to make people.
If Die Hard counts, and anything can.
And that's and that's pretty much pointed out the reaction I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted.
John nailed it.
There you go. So, look, I think, yes, I've been on YouTube for 9 years, and I just love it because I can just be me and create content and have a good time doing it, and that's the thing, meeting these people, making connections. And we met through other channels, British channels, and Disney World Freak, and I came across through Lou Mongello and all that kind of thing, and you just meet people along the way. And I've
so welcoming. It's so nice.
Absolutely,
everyone's so lovely.
It's so lovely, and I've been here a long time. People come, people go, but I know who my friends are, and I know who are the loveliest people, and I want to get to know people, and that's just what it's all been about. I go to Disney now not to go on holidays, to hang out with my mates.
Yeah.
See, the biggest thing about the Disney community, we found out last year, is talking to people that actually get it. Because you go to work and it's like, oh, you're going to Disney again next year, or you're going again. Why are you going again? And it's like, they just don't get it. But anyone else in the community, you just talk about Sonar, you talk about Grand Floridian, you talk about something just random, and they just get it. You
could talk to a person in the room who's a Disney fan about the Carousel of Progress and how, John's going down to get a cold sarsaparilla, right? And it takes the Flying Brothers 7 days to get from New York to Los Angeles. And you've got people in the room have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. And that's what I love about Disney and Disney World, because you could talk, in their mind, absolute nonsense. Yeah. But for us, right now, and people who are watching this or listening to this, they know what we're talking about. We know what, the Carousel of Progress references, or, Flight of Passage, what Flight of Passage is. Like, so that's what I love about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not, you're not talking in code. You're not, it's out there. It's just totally out there. I totally get it. And I'm not a YouTuber. And I think this is where Sammy's intrigued, I think primarily because she is. I know Ben and Becca's sort of output for us as a channel is absolutely. I take my hat off to you guys, because actually, Ben
and Becca give us all our Mickey Waffle content.
Yeah, but I'm old school.
Sometimes I want you lot into doing it as well.
I've written it all down, and I actually feel as if I've missed out on, I've missed out on so much because we started with the video way back when the kids' first trip was 2008, and we videoed it, and it was a pain in the backside to try and sort of edit it and stuff like that. We made a couple of little vids and stuff like that, and then we put some really nice tunes on, which now get you banned from YouTube if you put the music on top of it. It's like so that you get the alert comes the following morning,
Copyright claim.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm looking now. It's just like it's the most amazing medium to actually put across the experiences. I know we spoke about the Sonar bread service, and you did that thing. Was it the Food Fridays? And you've done your live shows from the park. I think which bit would you like? Imagine tomorrow, all of the parks reopen. We can get on a flight from the UK to Orlando. What would you do? Would you go and do another 24-hour stream, or would you go and do something completely different and completely new? Because that tends to be what you choose to do. You don't do the same thing again.
That's a tough question. I mean, the first, thing that people will probably tell me is to go on, Rise of Resistance or go on Mickey's Runaway Railway, because I haven't ridden those rides yet.
Yeah.
But for me, I would always want to go home to Magic Kingdom. It was my park for my college program. It was my home. I want to sit on Main Street and look at the castle in its new sort of pink color scheme, and just take it all in. Even just sit on Main Street and listen to the music. And I think we're all, as Brits, we are all sort of feeling our Disney blues right now. And I think that's the first place I would want to go to first, because I love Epcot, I love Hollywood Studios, I love Animal Kingdom, but for me, Disney's Magic Kingdom is Disney. It screams Disney. It is Disney. That's where I want to be. I want to be able to go and ride my Haunted Mansion. I want to be able to go and get my Dole Whip. I want to, look at Walt's face. That's just what I want to do. So, yeah, I think that's probably what I would do first.
Good plan.
I'm trying to think through what I would do.
Yeah.
There's too many options. I think it's like our tradition's always been Hollywood Studios on our first day.
Oh, really?
Like,
Yeah.
So it would be one of those things that I'd be so tempted to do Rise of Resistance because we missed it by a month. We're out there in November. And
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean, I really want to do Rise of Resistance. Yeah, the boarding passes and then obviously you got Runaway Railway there as well. But I just feel like there's something so sentimental about Magic Kingdom that it's just. I always have the tradition where I have to go there my first day of my trip and my last day of my trip. I have to do that. Otherwise, I feel like
Wrong.
It feels wrong. Yeah, you're right.
I'm with you there. Yeah.
Yeah. I go to the planning OCD if I'm going on my own or with a friend. Like I tell them, right, we're going here, and then we're doing Magic Kingdom first day. Then we have to do at least all 4 parks within all the first 4 days of our trip.
Yeah.
And then the penultimate day, we have to go and watch Fantasmic because it sets me up perfectly for my final day at Magic Kingdom. And then we have to do Happily Ever After.
Of course.
Final night.
What's really messing me up for our next trip is 180 days.
Yeah.
It's like not being able to plan your food 6 months before. It's like that's confusing.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Like half of the fun for me is the planning before you go.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I plan my days around my food.
Oh,
Yes.
Like I'm like,
Not
right,
good, but
first day, Ohana, second day, this place, third day, this place, and then I determine what park I go to based around that restaurant.
I've got to admit though, and we've been really privileged. If we go for if you stay, you've got a 21-day ticket. I would do the same start as it's like the start is all 4 parks basically in sequence at the beginning, but at the end it's trying to get Fantasmic right and to actually ensure. So we're actually very flexible on day sort of the 5th and 6th day before, because we've been in Fantasmic where we've been sort of rained out or thunder and lightned out on the second day before you go home and not seeing Phantasmic. So we have an insurance policy to ensure that Phantasmic happens before we go home.
I'm like you. I'm so particular about Phantasmic. I always have to go for the Mama Melrose Phantasmic VIP package, because then I know I get the perfect seat for Phantasmic. I'm not paying for the meal. Well, I am paying for the meal, but the reason why I'm paying for the meal is so I can get that perfect seat for Phantasmic. Because I've sat right on the end on the left-hand side where Ariel gets bagged. I've seen that.
I've got a cunning plan. I'm not going to share it on the show, but it does involve speaking very nicely and politely to cast members, and just that little bit of a British sort of
charm.
I might never see it again. But and again, coming back to how good cast members are, because actually you don't want to be at either end of Phantasmic because it's lousy. And again, you need to, when there was two shows a night, make sure you're in early doors, in the queue for the second show, and you get the run of the whole place.
So I don't know if you saw the video of the unfortunate misplacement of footing by Dopey. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, guess who was in the audience of that show?
Oh.
So when that happened, firstly, I was thinking, out of all characters on Steamboat Willie, it had to be the most dopiest characters on the boat, Goofy and Dopey.
At least it's themed.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
but
it was planned.
The first reaction was everyone went, and then, I'm not being sort of sexist or anything, all the men just started laughing around me. And then all the women were like, "Oh my gosh, like it was just so bad," and all the kids were just like, and I was just like, "This is awful, but hilarious at the same time," and I feel really bad for laughing, but it was interesting.
I also wondered who was first on the phone to the Orlando Sentinel to sell cell phone footage so that they could get it out there and onto their Twitter feed as soon as was humanly possible.
You know what was funny was that we decided to go back the next day, and you can clearly see on the top level they've now put like an extra sort of 2 inches of like thing around the edge of the boat so they can't trip through it. Just oh gosh. It was bad.
I tell you what, it's not as bad as if you're the health and safety guy, isn't he? He's sitting there, he's got like 25 report pages to fill in, and then he's also got to explain to his bosses why it happened.
Yeah.
Dopey was being dopey.
Dopey was being dopey, and Goofy was just there in the wrong time.
That's always Goofy, though.
Yeah.
It just has to be those characters.
Oh, it just worked out so well.
Okay. After all the discussions in recent shows, we've also asked our guests to imagine you're hosting a dinner party. You've one guest of honor, already assigned to, let's say, Mr. Walt Disney. You can invite 5 others to the meal to enjoy. Those guests can be any character within parks, films, any Disney World, so MCU, Star Wars, Pixar, are all included. Any cast member or Disney personnel employee, dead or alive. So who are you inviting over?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Pressure.
So I've got to have 5.
Yeah.
And Walt's already there.
Walt's already there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite the 2. No, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to invite the 3. So Disney. Oh gosh, this is tough. Right. Straight away, I'm going to go with Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Feige is the modern day Walt Disney storytelling. He is sort of the genius behind all of these incredible Marvel stories, and I think he's done such an incredible job. Number 2, I'm going to go with John Williams. I think for me, John Williams probably is the greatest composer, I think, of all time. And, you know, people are like, oh, you can't compare it to Mozart, to Beethoven. You can't, but
I
for
think you
me,
can. I'll argue with that. I think you can.
I just think that John Williams, you know, everyone knows his style of music and everyone knows his history with those classic films. And so I'd love to have John Williams there. To feed off John Williams, I would want another musician who knew Walt, and I would have Richard Sherman. Because then it sort of plays along the fact that Walt knew Richard Sherman when he was young, and now he can sort of reunite with him and see what's happened over the years, and sort of he can introduce him to John Williams and the music, and then obviously onto Kevin Feige and that kind of thing. So that's 3. 4. Let's go with. Oh, this is tough. What's the guy, the Pixar guy? Is it not John Ratzenberger? It's
John Lasseter.
John Lasseter. I'd have John Lasseter. Again, creator, Pixar. You know, again for his time back in the early 2000s, you could consider him like the modern day Walt Disney for creating a brand new animated franchise and that kind of thing. And then finally, I think all these people are really amazing people, but you need some comedic. You need someone to liven the party up. And there's no better person than Robin Williams to do that.
Yeah. Oh, my word.
I think Robin Williams would just bring the fun. He would talk to Disney about his time working on Aladdin. He would do sort of his 2-hour, 4-hour sketch of all the lines he did for the genie. And I think he would have such amazing stories. He could come out as Mrs. Doubtfire if he wanted to. I mean,
he could even do his sort of skipper routine from when he was on Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, like it would just be so great. Yeah. I mean, I think those 5 with Walt and me, I think would be so much fun.
That's a pretty banging list.
It's
such a difficult one. When you start sort of going through them, I think I'd like Jon Favreau on mine. And it's just like every time you think there's someone else you'll add on. And it's just...
See, all 5 of mine would just be Tom Holland.
Actually, have you answered this question, Sammy?
No, I'm answering it.
What's yours?
Let's hear it.
Do you know, I actually...
One. You need 4 more.
And then he comes back again and again.
We've got 5 clones of Tom Holland at your dinner party.
Yes.
Just like a future Spider-Man film,
actually,
like the multiverse.
Replace Walt with Tom Holland, I'll have 6. I'm a bit obsessed with Tom Holland.
I think that'll go for the Blueberry Show for next year.
It's not healthy. It's not healthy, Sammy. It's not healthy.
It's so beautiful, though.
It's really fun. I think it's hard to stick it to 5, though. 5 is really tough. Like, I can still think of so many, like, to add to that list. But that was tough. Alan Menken. I'd have Marty Sklar.
Marty was on my list then.
What's her name? Mary Blair. Robert Downey Jr. Chris
Tom
Evans.
Holland?
Well, I was going to say Chris Evans because then I can reunite with him after I met him in the hotel. And just say, hey, do you remember me? I was wearing a brown beigey costume. He was probably like, no.
No.
It's like the shouted Hail Hydra at you.
I think for mine, I'd have to have some Universal people in there because I also equally love Universal. So.
Yeah,
like Mike Coelho, like who did Halloween Horror Nights and stuff. I'd have to have him there. But I don't know. I'll think about my list and do it some other time.
We're gonna hold you to that.
We need to get you on the show, Sammy.
Interview me.
Oh dear. No, I've got to say, Dan, there's so many inspired choices in that, and I'm intrigued by the music element of it. You know, and I think that comes across on an awful lot of your YouTube stuff. You know, it really you've got the ability to sort of put into sort of even just little intros a lot of your musical sort of background as well. But I've got to say, one of the things that really struck me recently, and I think this has come from even interviews that we've had as well, with other people. I'm not going to mention names. No, I'm not. I'm being purely serious with you. This is. No, I am. There's serious. Nobody gets me.
I'm not gonna.
I know. I was really fortunate. I actually jumped on the very end of your show last night when you were on one of your film reviews, right? And you finished it with a massive thank you to not just your watching community, but your online family.
Yeah,
and to actually the way you actually describe these people, and I think we've touched on it earlier, but this is something that keeps coming back to me. I'm like I say, I'm not a YouTuber. I might be in the future. I must admit.
Next trip.
Yeah, but I've got to say, you've had the support you provide for other people, without probably knowing it, but you put a whole lot of time in there. But there's other people as well, and I will name names now. I know Pete McDevitt's out there, but I first met you in a online way was purely through Carlos's show, but also that that support that you've got. But Carlos said the same thing, and it's that bit where your online Disney family are actually so close to you and so much involved in your day-to-day living. And do you know something that really struck a chord, because I've got to say, it's something that I keep hearing time and time again. It's a lovely thing to be part of ourselves, as what we're trying to create. And I think as a group, we're very new still into this, and to be able to speak to you and for you to talk about things, even in the bad days of Disney, we try to portray the positivity, even in what we're trying to, even in everything that we try to put across online. But I don't know. It really takes me aback, and tell us more. Why is it?
I'm really touched by that. That's so humbling to hear. I mean, I think because I started YouTube a long time ago, coming into this community a long time ago, I feel like I think people I remember when there was hardly anybody in this community.
Yeah. And
I think maybe part of the reason why we've grown so much is, we have channels like Resort TV 1 and Corey Meets World. I remember Corey, who had less than 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I've had dinner with him many times, and we're friends. And I remember Magical News Live, Nick, who I remember when he lived in New Jersey when he was a young boy. I remember Tanya, that crazy Disney lady, who, she had less than 1,000 subscribers when I knew her. And I think because I've been here such a long time, I've known people so much. And doing a show like Disney Fiasco, where I've invited people from all over the place to come in to this community, I think has always been quite important to me. And I feel like, not to be cheesy or anything, but the world is not a Disney world. There's a lot of hate and horribleness and nastiness towards people, but I feel like in this community, yes, there are those people who you might not get along with, but overall, we are one big family. I mean, we've done things like raise a year and a half ago, we raised $10,000 for Give Kids the World for doing this Beverly challenge with Resort TV 1, Corey Meets World, all these amazing channels. And I knew Carlos even before he started streaming. I knew so many people before they even became YouTubers. I know YouTubers who've started their channel 5 years after I started and have already blasted me past subscribers. But that doesn't bother me, because I've always that hasn't bothered me because of the numbers and everything we spoke about. But it's the kindness, I think, with people. And, Ben, Becca, and John, I met you guys through Carlos. Sammy, I've literally just met you this last, hour and last 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I feel like right now, like I feel like not right now. I feel like now. I feel like now we're, I feel like I've known you guys forever.
Yeah.
It's how crazy how Disney brings all of us together. And when I started the journey, I didn't realize how big this community was going to get. And I didn't realize how much love I think everybody gives one another. And I'm kind of a bit sort of, not speechless, but a bit sort of humbled that people see me that way. And I've never wanted to think like that. I never wanted to be sort of that pioneering person. I never wanted that. I just wanted to have fun with people and do streams together and just have fun. That's always been my kind of thing. And so to hear something like that is really incredible to hear. And I'm really, truly honored by that. And yeah, so I can start tearing up in a minute. And then
warm, fuzzy feelings.
Yeah, knowing me, I probably will cry because I always cry at everything.
What's inspiring to me, and this is as a non-content maker, and this is you do it because you're still being you. You're not trying to be somebody else. You're not trying to portray anything else. And I think that comes back again to the numbers, but actually it just comes back to the fact that you can sit in front of your computer, you can enjoy a waffle with us, and you come across as just such a, it is just you.
That's the thing, you do it like for the love and for the joy, and that's the only way it should be. People shouldn't be doing it because, I want to have more subscribers than that person, or I want to be watched more than that person. That's not the way it should be done. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
No.
You're absolutely right. And I think people get too hung up about the numbers. And if people, want to, if they are typically a numbers person, then that's fine. Yeah. That's absolutely fine. But I know that this is what I love doing. I love sitting here, having a chat about Disney, having a chat with some friends, and just having a good time. Because that's really what it's all about.
100%.
You're in good company.
Yeah,
I don't think we'd be here if we didn't enjoy it.
I feel like after this, we're just like, yep, that guy's a weirdo. We're just gonna.
No, I think we're in complete agreement. It's not about doing it if you don't enjoy it.
I remember that cast member who didn't clear up my drink at the top of the Bay Lake Tower. Now
it was him.
It was him. It was always him.
Such an awesome lounge.
It is a beautiful lounge.
It's just beautiful. Be surrounded by like-minded people. It's just because if you're not in this kind of mindset and in this community, you don't get it. So it's nice to talk to like-minded people.
And everyone's so welcoming as well.
Yeah.
Which I think was what my goal was when I started my show was, I've been doing 125 of these episodes, and trust me, thinking of a new topic every week, 125 times is not easy. But, what's been great is I've been able to bring in so many people and do the show, and it is tough for us Brits because I go on at midnight on a Saturday. Which is why I'm kind of starting on some other shows as well. But it's what it's always been about, just having a laugh and having good fun, and that's the main thing. Yeah,
no, it's good. I just had a quick message here as well. From that list of questions, don't ask Dan, right? Quick reminder, right? Carlos asked, "Where's the wedding invite?"
Let me answer the question. You four are all invited. Carlos can be on the reserve. It's that thing where like they're pestering you, just like, oh, when's the wedding? When's the wedding? I'm just like, the people who don't ask get first dibs.
The people who don't pressure me.
Thing is, like, he can mock me all he wants, but I can mock him because he hasn't seen any movie past 1932. So, he can
take your wagon. Yeah,
we have our own one of those. He's called Lloyd.
He's not seen hardly any films from the 90s.
We have plans to drag him into the 21st century at some point.
But it's not like Carlos.
So.
The thing is, like, Carlos starts watching WandaVision and he hasn't seen any of the MCU.
I know. I can't believe that. I saw that tweet and I just thought, no, you can't.
Did you see my comment?
Yeah. You've not seen a single MCU film, John?
No.
Oh, we're gonna have to get you on this movie series with Lloyd then.
Where's the move from stream?
I am absolutely taken by WandaVision, and because of research for the shows that we do, I dip in and I know bits and bobs, and I know sort of plot lines and things like that. I'm not averse to that.
You've not been living in a cave then?
No. But as a family, we've not dipped the toe into the Marvel stuff. But I've got to say, WandaVision is just the most amazing thing I've seen for. I think I said it on the chat on our live show. It was a couple of Wednesdays ago, and it's just like it just reminds me of Twin Peaks. Sort of, however many years ago Twin Peaks was on the telly, you watch it, you come away, it takes you days to just go through in your mind exactly what you've seen, and you need that space before you watch the next one, before you move on again. And I think it's not, you can't just binge watch.
John, have you seen the mid-season trailer? They launched it today.
Don't spoil it for me, mate.
But that's the thing, though, which is what I really like, is the fact that I'm a big comic book guy. I love my Marvel. I love my DC. And, you know, John, you saying that, it's just like, right, I've been watching WandaVision. I've never seen any of the MCU. And I kind of like the characters. Well, you know, you enjoy the show. When I watch it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that sword. Oh my gosh, that's Monica Rambeau. Oh my gosh, it's this and that. And I'm just like... Right. Yeah. So,
and I don't have that hook on all those characters.
Right.
I'm watching it thinking, just with an open mind, I'm thinking, this is darn good. This is something I actually, it's you know, as a mysterious sort of way. Like I say, I can only compare it to Twin Peaks.
And here's what I would recommend is that now that you've seen some of WandaVision, because as of this moment we haven't finished it yet.
Yeah,
I would definitely go back and watch the MCU, because then you'll get sort of those hidden references, like when Jimmy Woo, who the cop in the latest show, does the card trick. You'll know why that's so funny, because in previous films there's a scene about that card trick.
See, that's great, isn't it?
So that's
Shield, because the bit to do with the soap is actually a Easter reference for Phil Coulson in the framework.
Right. And the watch, the Strucker watch. You know, so it's
toaster.
I've got to say though, this is are we in the realms of spoilers for people?
Maybe.
Because I've unfortunately after our experiences with Carlos just before Christmas, and Dan started following me on Twitter, and I then followed him back. You know, and I've said to all of our listeners, I'm like 12 months into being a social media person, so I was quite taken by the fact that, you know, having ripped apart an after show, which will never be spoken about again, to actually read what Dan's putting up on Twitter and about your love because you're a massive Marvel person, and you're just sort of bleeding out all this stuff about WandaVision and how good it is and things like that. And I'm thinking, flipping, I've missed something. I've really missed something absolutely massive.
10 years worth of films, John.
Yeah, there you go. That's fine. That's the story of my life, that Becca, though, isn't it?
But here's the thing, right? My other half, she hasn't seen any of the Marvel films either.
Yeah.
And she said to me, you know, I'll never watch Star Wars, I'll never watch Marvel, all that kind of stuff when we first started dating. I was just like, you will. So when we moved out, I said, right, we're going to watch Marvel, because I feel like it's something she would actually enjoy. She actually enjoys films like Fast and the Furious, which I love too. But if she likes Fast and the Furious, then I think she would like things like Iron Man and Captain America and all that kind of thing. So we're going to take it slowly and watch the MCU and see what happens, because it is a franchise that is unlike anything seen before since Star Wars, like since the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
It is that unique and different. People have tried to copy it. It hasn't worked. Universal have copied it. It hasn't worked. DC have tried to copy it. It hasn't worked. It works because it's so good. It's a reason why Avengers Endgame is the biggest grossing movie of all time, because it's so good.
And that last 20 minutes still makes me cry.
I cried like 5 times in that movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was still crying when I got home.
I went to the opening. I did the double. So I did Avengers Infinity War and Endgame in the same night. I stood outside for about an hour. And I got there really, really early. I had perfect seats. And then I had the big friendly giant sit next to me. This guy, bless him, there were so many other seats, but he decides to sit next to me for 6 hours. I was like, okay, I just have to, use the other armrest. It's fine, it's cool. 6 hours of watching this. I was watching Infinity War, which I already knew I loved.
Led to one side.
I was leaning to one side, and then I watched Endgame. I was there pretty much on my own. I don't care that I was on my own. It was like 3 a.m. I was loving every moment. I loved Endgame so much, that ending. It was just amazing.
I would have, but somebody had had their appendix out about 2 days
Oh,
before.
no.
Need to wait
In the end, I went to see Endgame on my own.
without me.
Without him. I couldn't wait any longer.
Yeah,
I'd waited 2 days. I couldn't wait any longer.
I couldn't leave the sofa.
He couldn't leave. No, it wasn't Endgame. It was Infinity War.
Well,
I couldn't wait any longer.
While you're out, I was watching Formula One, and it's like, spoilers for Infinity War. I thought, so and so's died. I was like, great, Spider.
I didn't tell you that.
No,
you looked it up on your phone.
Yeah.
What was great was, I watched the Endgame, and obviously because of the time difference, we got the movie first before America did.
Yeah.
So I remember calling my friend, who's also a YouTuber. His name's Adam from Adam's Land. And I was like, do we dare go live and spoil everybody? And we were like, should we? Should we title the movie like blah, blah, blah? Because John hasn't seen it. Blah, blah, blah is dead at the end after doing that. Like, but no, we were good boys. We
It was like good. That idea when Star Wars came out as well, and we always got a day earlier in the UK than it was in the US. It's like, I wonder how many people sort of did reviews and things. It's like, and you see on Twitter, everyone like the US going, people are spoiling it again.
Yeah.
We actually did the triple bill for Rise of the Skywalker.
Okay.
Rise of the Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker.
Rise
of the Skywalker.
It doesn't help that our last podcast was called Rise of the Skyliner.
Yeah, or something.
Which is well worth a listen if anybody if anybody missed it. Yeah,
Promo.
Yeah, it was Star Wars, The Rise of Skyliner.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just there's nothing like Marvel nowadays, and we go back to those tweets. Like when people say, "Oh, we watched the first 2 episodes, we didn't get it. It was really weird." I was just like, "Yeah, that's what Kevin Feige told us at D23. Like, expect the weirdness," and then it's just got better and better and better.
But I think as well, does that not actually, in itself, the passionate way in which people talk about Marvel, does that not sum up why Disney bought the franchise and actually took it completely on board? Because actually, that's what Disney's about, and that's what the whole of that Disney model of having people being able to talk like we have tonight. So passionately about films and about, and now about a TV show, it's truly ingrained in each and every Disney lover, and that's why sort of Marvel fits that whole bill as Star Wars did previously.
I think so. I think as Marvel fans ourselves, I think we can agree that, in the MCU, there have been films that are better than others, but I feel all of them are relevant to the whole storyline. We get those characters that pop back later on in films and in shows. And, even this past week's episode, there were 2 characters that returned who we hadn't seen for a long time. And it was great to see them. Yeah, they're not the big, front-running heroes, but it was so good to see them. And what I love about Marvel is that these stories are so well done and so well, shown to us in such a great way that I feel like, unlike Star Wars, you get those hardcore fans who only love the originals. Then you got those people who love the prequels, and then you got the people who love the sequels, and it's all over the place. Whereas I think Marvel, everyone kind of knows, like, Iron Man 3 isn't the best MCU film. Everyone, says like Guardians of the Galaxy was totally not what they were expecting. And that's what I think I love about Marvel, is that it's been doing so well, and they haven't really put a foot wrong.
I wonder how much of that might translate into sort of Star Wars going forward, when you think of all the new stuff that they've talked about for Disney Plus, and how they're trying to tie a lot of it together. And maybe Kevin Feige will make a...
They've taken a lesson out of Marvel's book, I think.
Look, if they keep producing stuff like they did for The Mandalorian, sign me up.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think we don't need... Sorry, the Jar Jar Binkses. We don't need the Skywalker saga anymore. I don't think we need it. We can have it. We can have it in bits and pieces. But I don't think we need it. We can have our own new stories. Like bringing in someone like, spoiler alert, Boba Fett into The Mandalorian is fantastic, because we hadn't seen him for such a long time, and it's a well-loved character.
I haven't seen season 2 yet.
Spoiler alert, Sammy.
There you go. That's Sammy's weekend taken care of. She needs to go and watch The Mandalorian season 2.
Let's just spoil all of Marvel for John right now.
We could. And do you know something? I think that's the best thing about all of this. We're sharing such a passion for films, because I know you're a big film lover.
I'm a bit, yeah.
I know you're a big film lover.
Don't ask me about Jaws 4. Because Jaws 4.
Film of all time, Dan.
Dan, this has just been amazing, and you know something. There's not often we get to a time in the show where we actually think, do you know something? We need to get him on again. And you can actually just come and join us for every single waffle that we do, because you fit in. You're just sort of part of the crew and part of the chat, and it's just all totally like-minded. So, do you know? I just thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing. It's been amazing for us. Like I say, we're new into this. You have been sort of. You said it yourself. You don't think of yourself as an inspiration, but you are to so many. And it's
I mean, just this was such an honor for me. I mean, just to for you guys to contact me and to say, hey, would you like to come on to our podcast? I was like, really? You want me out of all people? Like, really? I'm so grateful that you reached out and said, you asked me to do this, and I was really excited about this, and to be on the same podcast as Lou and someone, who I look up to, and now to be, talking to the same people who spoke to, sat down with Lou is amazing. And just to get to know you guys has been really amazing, and just shows how the love of Disney sort of brings new friends together. And this has been such a blast. And look, if you need to get hold of my agent, then feel free. Thank you so much. This was so much fun, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. I thank you. And do you know the other problem is, right? We're probably going to need another lockdown, or an extension to lockdown, so that everyone can go now binge watch all of your entire YouTube channel videos, because I've tried. and do you know,
sorry.
No, do you know something? There's so many fantastic things on there. So I've got to say, I've now set myself up with trying to find out about the MCU. That's another one on the list.
Let's have a lockdown 4, John.
Yeah, well, so I'm just going to disappear from the Great British Mickey Waffle for a number of months, just so that I can catch up.
Well, Claire managed to during the last lockdown, so you should be all right with this one. Or the first lockdown.
Yeah. It's madness, it really is. But I tell you what, Dan, I know a lot of our listeners are going to want to follow you and enjoy all the content you produce. So where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so it's very simply Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. All is DizneyDan, DIZ or ZNEYDAN. There is another DizneyDan out there who has a lot more subscribers than me and a bigger fan base, but that's okay. I was here first, but still, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But no, my channel is DIZNEYDAN, all one word, DizneyDan, and yeah. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Give me a just watch the video. You know, have a look at the video. If you like the video, feel free to hit the subscribe button. If you don't, that's fine too.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I think collectively we knew it was going to be, because we had such a blast when we first met online as part of Carlos's show, and it's been just a delight speaking to you tonight. Thanks to all of our listeners for listening to us waffle. You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GB Mickey Waffle. Our YouTube channel is The Great British Mickey Waffle. And you also get in touch with us at themickeywaffle@gmail.com. If you're listening for the first time, don't forget, hit that subscribe button so you can get your podcast app up and running so you don't miss out on any of the fun that we've got coming up. And anyone who is listening who hasn't linked the podcast to our live shows, which are being listened to more and more and more, go and have a look, because they've been a great fun for us to do, and probably a little bit nerve-wracking as well. But the shows are on all our channels, and with all the experiences we shared with Dan, we're delighted to have so many new listeners, new viewers that are joining us every single month. And it's great to be part of a team on the Great British Mickey Waffle, where we're growing our listenership, our viewership. So thanks for joining us. Look after those you love in these strange times, and really do believe in the magic. All of our Disney dreams will come true. Until the next time, waffle on.
Waffle on.
Waffle on.
Waffle on.
Hey, we got him.